think that there's the potential that there will be backlash against this kind of information overload. Like, I personally sometimes feel like I need to turn off all media. Like, I went on vacation and I deleted every app from my phone other than Slack, which I needed to check for work.
I mean, no question. I think that, something that I think about a lot is this idea of psychological freedom. And I think that we don't really have that psychological freedom. And I think it's a function of the interfaces. Because if you think about Twitter, if you don't check Twitter for 2 days, chances are when you log on 3 days from now, you've kind of missed what you've missed, right? But if we had interfaces that allow you to kind of resurface things as you needed. So I always think about, the kind of the framework for me is shifting from information that demands your attention to information on demand. If you woke up one day and you had some sort of problem or thing that you were thinking about, and you had a way to access insights, you were thinking about, I don't know, maybe you're doing diligence on a company in the design tool space. At that point, it might make sense to see, all right, what have interesting people written about the future of like collaborative design on the internet? So for me, it's about shifting from these kind of FOMO-inducing interfaces to interfaces that make like search and serendipity the core of the experience, as opposed to just like infinite feeds, which I think like prey on our human vulnerabilities.
Yeah, I think there's within the feed personalization algorithms, there are deleterious effects on society because they're really optimizing for reactions, and there's a lot of content that you're not going to have a strong positive or negative reaction to that you may want to see and is informative.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. I think the other piece is, there is a ceiling. Now that we're shifting from this kind of ad-based ecosystem to a subscription economy, I think that we are sort of over-indexing on that. And there's a ceiling on people's finances and attention, as you mentioned. And so my hope is that, as we kind of learn and understand these new business models, we'll settle on something that is a little bit more kind of multiplayer. And what I mean by that is like, who has money or time to consume 100 Substacks a month? That leads to redundancy, lack of coordination. And so I'm more excited about, creators coming together and kind of like reimagining organizations like a newspaper, for example, but using things like maybe DAOs or, collectives or groups of creators, because I think we went from this like top-down control, centralized, to now, giving a lot of power to these atomized creators. But that doesn't solve the issue for the consumer, which is ultimately like, people are overwhelmed and exhausted. And so hopefully I think the pendulum will shift and we'll see more of that kind of interdependence, in the form of collectives and whatnot.